Hi everyone and welcome back to the London Watch Collector channel. If you've just tuned in to my channel, I'm a watch collector, a watch enthusiast. I'm basically addicted to watches. And on my channel, I'll be sharing my passion for watches using 4K content. I'll be discussing and showing you brilliant timepieces ranging from Seiko to Patek Philippe. So guys, if you enjoy my reviews, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure to click on the notification bell and follow me on Instagram. So guys, this week I finally decided to do a review whereby I compare both Rolex Submariners, the 16610 LV aka the Kermit versus the 116610 LV aka the Hulk. And I feel it's important to review those two watches. Not just because one is a predecessor of the other, but at the same time, it's inevitable that the Hulk will get an upgrade or get discontinued. It's not going to be in Basel because, as you guys know, Rolex has pulled out of Basel. It will probably be earlier than Basel, somewhere around January. And why I feel it's an important review is because currently, if you're looking to buy either watches, obviously the Kermit being discontinued, so it's going to be only as a pre-owned, and the Hulk because it's a very popular model. So it's quite unlikely in 2020 you'll be able to get one on your hands, especially due to the pandemic. They didn't have a supply for a couple of months. And if Rolex is planning on discontinuing this model, then we've probably seen the last of it. But this is all speculations, so we can never really be sure when it comes to Rolex. But if you're looking to buy either watches from the grey market, they'll cost you anywhere between 12 to 13,000 pounds. And I want to do this review to try to help you decide and try to give you my opinion on which one you should buy. So as always, as I do with all my reviews, most of you enjoy the whole box and papers and accessories. Some of you find it boring, but I feel it's quite important because anyone who collects watches, it's all about the full set. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the review. So to the left is the older style box. As you can see, it's the camouflage greenish bluish, having the Rolex Oyster at the front. To the right is the newer boxes, and this is a medium size, and basically it comes with an outer sleeve to protect the outer cardboard box. Opening up both of them, you're presented with all the accessories. So before I go through every little accessory, I'm just going to separate them to make it easier. To the left, as you can see, there's 5 different accessories or 5 different attachments, including a calendar, a translation, a Rolex Submariner catalog, a factory service, the care of your Rolex catalog, and they used to give an anchor. So this being a Submariner, they give you a 300 meter, and it's a shame they stopped doing that in the ceramic versions. On the Hulk, being the ceramic, it's a single catalog whereby you have everything you need to know about the watch, including how to set the time and date. Comparing the tag, one is a white tag and the other is a green tag. Moving on to the Rolex tag, so one is a green seal and the other is a maroon tag, one indicating a 5-year warranty, the other a 2-year warranty. And both watches next to each other. So these two watches, it's all about taste. It's all about what would you prefer. Honestly, I love both. It goes without saying that the Hulk is obviously superior. They made a better watch. And that's what they always intended on doing, is making it a better watch. But Rolex always has this special feel to it. You'll always appreciate the current, you'll always appreciate the neo vintage, and you'll always appreciate the vintage pieces. So if it comes to value of what you get, I would tell you without a doubt, go for the Hulk, because because the Kermits, when they were introduced back in 2003, they were going for around $5,000. And this Kermit that I picked up, I paid $15,000. That's 3 times what it was worth 15 years ago. And is it a lot of money? Yes, it is, especially that it has an aluminium bezel, an inferior bracelet with hollow side links that will stretch eventually no matter what you try and do. So as you can see, the Hulk has a golden green dial, the Kermit has a black dial. They both have the so-called maxi dials, which has larger hour markers as well as hour and minute hand. The Kermit has an aluminium bezel, the Hulk has a ceramic bezel. Frankly speaking, I prefer the color on the Kermit when it comes to the bezel. I think it's something to do with the manufacturing process. And the nice thing about the Kermit that it comes in different variants of green, starting with the olive green back in 2003 flat 4s, and they changed throughout the years. When it comes to the thickness, the Hulk is a bit thicker. I would say the Kermit looks more classy and wears smaller on the wrist. So if you have a smaller wrist, the Kermit will probably match your watch more. But overall, both watches are spectacular without a doubt. Looking at the clasp, as you can see, the inferior clasp of the Kermit, which is the older version with the Rolex stamped on the inner clasp. As I mentioned before, it has the hollow side links. The Hulk has the newer version, one of the best clasps and bracelets out there. There's no any hollow links, and the way the clasp closes is just spectacular. Not to mention, of course, the glide lock system, which is just superb for micro adjusting the watch during a hot day, etc. Of course, guys, no reviews complete without a wrist shot, so I'm planning on wearing both watches, the Kermit on the left, the Hulk on the right. And there you go, guys. So it's really down to choice. But if I had to choose, frankly speaking, recently while I've been thinking and trying to refine my collection, I started realizing that I actually prefer the modern watches. Because for some reason, the neo-vintage or vintage pieces feel weaker and doesn't have the presence as much. For example, a Hulk looks from the current era. I like the bulkiness of it. I like the way it catches the light. The way the golden green dial just pops. So God forbid, if I had to ever choose one of either, I would definitely go with the Hulk because I feel the Hulk would be enjoyed more. It has more wrist presence. The Kermit would probably be a watch that I enjoy looking at but not wearing it as much due to the inferior material used, especially when it comes to the bezel. You'll be worried about getting some scratches on it, and the black dial does not give you that sunburst effect. But what would you choose? If you were given an option, you can only choose one, the Hulk or the Kermit. What would you choose? I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. That's all for this week. Thank you for watching.